Hello, everybody. Welcome to our full moon. It's a super moon, so meaning it's close to the earth and it's going to be large. Also, what does that do if it's a super moon? If it's closer to the earth, more visible, larger? Well, there's a more intense gravitational pull, which means fluids in the body, bodies of water, rivers, your veins, whatever it is, whatever carries fluids could feel more pressure because the gravitational pull is just a little stronger. Also, emotions. Emotions are represented by water and fluids as well. Humors, they would call them. So we already know full moons statistically see more people in crisis in emergency rooms, or more 911 calls, things like this. You could correlate it to just a basic biological function that the gravity of the moon raising the fluids in the waters and in us provokes a pressure emotionally that can make people react. Now, sometimes those reactions are destructive, yeah. Sometimes the reactions that we have during a full moon can seem destructive, but actually they're not. They're more like a buildup and a purge, maybe of something that you've been holding on to or suppressing far too long, and maybe the full moon just pushes it out because suppression is not healthy. But we, of course, live in a society where we're supposed to suppress and make all of our emotional life into logic and just explain it away. And we don't have a lot of room or skill for listening to people, how they feel, or letting people feel, and just riding sort of the wave of an emotion out so that it sort of can be expressed, rises, peaks, falls, and is released. Most of the time, emotion rises. You tell people, they go, oh, I don't know, I don't want to hear that. Or, oh, that's because of this. Or, oh, well, you attracted that. Or, oh, here's some medication for that. Or just something like, just please stop it. I don't want to hear your emotions, right? And we are exposed to more and more and more and more and too much and too much and too much and too much information on everything and everyone. Social media has been great in some ways, but it is a pressure in a way that you are suddenly aware of the globe and aware of what's going on in so many people's lives that there's no way before social media or internet we would have ever been privy or imagined that we could absorb as much tragedy as we have been. There's just no way we can absorb it all, feel for everybody. You can't. It's too much. We all have a threshold. So what happens after you reach your threshold? Well, you start to numb yourself. You'll start to run away or numb yourself with something. Video games, food, alcohol, drugs. Too much activity, over-exercising, whatever, workaholism, checking out, depression, anxiety. I think globally everybody is at that level for many years now of just like, it's too much, I'm numbing myself, I'm checking out in various ways. And so I'm mentioning all of this because a supermoon, and especially with Capricorn and conjunct Pluto, it's going to be more intense this full moon. And those kind of pressures, you might really feel them more. You might feel, sorry, got to clean my screen lens for a second. Is that better? Yeah. I think we're going to feel just more of the pressures of whatever it is in your life or in the world. Already can see things escalating on the news. There's escalating things in politics always, but you know, Boris Johnson saying he's going to resign is a pretty big deal. It's falling within the window of the full moon. There's progress in indictments for January 6th and against Trump. I mean, we'll see. We'll see if any of these stick with either of these two. But there is progress and pressure building, right? That's my point. Pressure building. I just turned on the news 5 minutes ago to see that there's been 4 separate shootings at 7-Elevens in the US and the South. So because this full moon is more intense and hitting Pluto, just really, we have to be aware of our own threshold of how much we can handle. We have to manage our own internal pressure. We have to manage our own reactions and try not to burst or explode in some way at somebody or in reaction to something, unless that energy is warranted and you need it and it's long overdue and you're standing up for yourself. Maybe you build up and you finally say, I told you no. It can sometimes be healthy, but most of the time, it's probably borderline destructive or got to be careful because most people are suppressing. I think the more conscious we are of our process, you know, and I'm sure as I'm talking to people that watch me, very likely you're more self-aware or into your healing process or journey. I think if you're self-aware, you can use these energies to help make progress in your healing, let's say. For example, you can use the full moon, the intensity and the pressure building to really get in touch with something that's been deeply bothering you or building up. You can be honest about it with yourself. You can make a decision. You can take some action. You know, it's basically this ability to be honest with yourself about what you're feeling that helps you go forward in life, because while you're suppressing and numbing and running, you can't turn around and say, oh, well, actually, deep down, I'm sad because of blah. And that's why I've been acting this way. And that's why I've been. So the ability to be honest with yourself is key to all your good decisions. To know yourself and to be honest with yourself. So we might see, because of this Pluto intensity, you might feel a pressure to make some decisions. And as I said, we can reactively make decisions, or we can say, wow, the energy is powerful right now. You know what? This has been bothering me a long time. This has been a long time coming. Let's face this. Let's decide. It's completely different than, oh, I can't take it anymore. Ah, and then just leaving or quitting or saying something. And I bring that up because the planets are intense in this chart. The reactivity level is high. So let's take a look at our chart now. And of course, I didn't open the window. 1 second, folks. And now, all right, I always do this, don't I? Months and months go by and I still go, oh yeah, right. I have to open it on my desktop. So here we go. Things are slow to load. The other thing that's interesting with our full moon period, right, is that we saw the, in North America, we saw Rogers just completely shut down. Yesterday, no, 2 days ago, if you were in North America, you could not use your debit cards. You couldn't send an e-transfer anywhere. Some people couldn't use their phones if they were with Rogers, but it also debilitated the whole debit card system. This is a very full moon Plutonian type of thing too in Capricorn, you know, banking and authority and monopolies and stuff like that. And they still haven't really come out with a good. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at this chart of this full supermoon. Now, as I always mention, I do the chart for New York City, so it's Eastern time zone. In that case, it means if you're in the Eastern time zone, or very likely like an hour before or after, it's a Scorpio ascendant. What does that mean on our full moon? Well, Pluto is factoring into this chart. Pluto is ruling Scorpio. Pluto rules the ascendant. Could there be changes in your appearance, your body? First house. Ascendant, how you come across to people, physical body, first impressions of you, physical issues that are visible to others because it's the first house. It's what we see. Scorpio in this ascendant or first house is like, no, I don't want you to see me. I'll see you, you don't see me. I'm watching. I'm deep and mysterious and I don't want you to see me. But Scorpio rising, it's like, yeah, but that's what we see is that you're deep and mysterious. So that creates intrigue, right? Creates a powerfulness, potency, magnetic energy, anything a bit mysterious. Everybody either gets scared of it, they think it's magical, they think it's dark, they want to know, they're compelled towards you. But Scorpio rising, they're not going to just give it to you. So they maintain their mystery, they maintain their potency, their power. So whatever comes of this full moon, if you are in the Eastern time zone, you've got this magnetic or sexy or powerful presence, powerful aspect with your words. And again, because it's the first house, you could see some shifts in your physical body or outward appearance. You might want to make some, you know. This would be a great aspect for somebody that wants to do some sort of makeover or completely change your hair. Maybe if you get a new job, you're just going to dress different. Maybe something is shifting inside of you enough that you're carrying yourself a little differently. Maybe that Scorpio rising is like, maybe you're pulling back a bit. You're being a bit more private or psychological or spiritual, mystical, or seductive. It's all of the above. So we have a bit of a mystery. So that means these reactions that I mentioned could really play out more in the background, behind the scenes, within your close relationships. Not so much going to show to everybody unless you let it. So let's first take a look. Now, we've got the Sun and Mercury together in Cancer, normal. We've got it opposing the moon for the full moon. That's what happens. And Pluto sitting beside it. So now we bring Mercury into the mix as well. Pluto and the moon are opposite Sun and Mercury. So this could provoke lots of things to be said. It could also provoke some sort of announcement because it's sitting also near, you can sort of see it here. These are the fixed stars. Now, I don't pretend to know all of them, but I'm learning a bit. Regulus, I know a little bit better. Sirius, somewhat. Sirius is the dog star, or Canis Major, and it sort of represents, from what I'm studying, like a little burst or a flash, like a shooting star, or like a flash or a rise of attention. For example, like a 15 minutes of fame. So it's interesting, it's sitting pretty close to Mercury. So is there something that you're going to announce to people? Something that you're going to say that suddenly people respond to? You know, that could be anything when it comes to opposing Pluto and the moon. Are you going to drop a truth bomb? You know, or are you going to just announce that you've changed your mind, or you're moving somewhere, or something could be fun? It is in the 9th house, Mercury and the Sun. It's opposing the 3rd house, so it could be something to do with foreign countries or travel, higher education. The Moon and Pluto, maybe you're not so thrilled with your current neighborhood or place. The Sun and Mercury in Cancer in the 9th, well, maybe you feel like exploring foreign lands, or just getting out of your comfort zone, or seeing some new scenery. And again, you might have an awful lot to say. You might have an awful lot to announce. Some people might be recognized for a contribution or volunteer work or something generous you've done. It says Sirius has this sort of fleeting shooting star effect, you know, that can launch you into a spotlight. And when it's opposite Pluto and the moon, well, you want it to be for a good thing, not because of a sketchy thing. The moon and Pluto in Capricorn could be very powerful and could use its power for good or for bad. Okay, it's really depends on the individual's ethics. They definitely have the potency to be powerful with the moon and Pluto. How are they going to use it? You know, when we look at case of Boris Johnson resigning and saying, well, he's resigning and he realizes he needs to resign, but he'll stay on until October until they find a replacement. Well, okay, he's got us and he's got some sway, but is this a true ending or transformation? Moon and Pluto, change of authority? Or is this a ruse? You know, is this like, is he going to wiggle around and play around with his power and not actually go? So all it's saying with the moon and Pluto together is you've got a lot of potency and power right now. Use it wisely. And then opposing Mercury and the Sun, what are you going to say out loud? What are you going to announce? What are you going to do? How are you going to use it? Now, look at all these aspects. Now, if you've been following me for the months or for a while, you'll know like every chart looks different. And this one definitely looks complex, complicated to me. It has so many aspects going on. So let's talk about some of them. Now, first thing is we see the moon and Mercury and Sirius are squaring off with Jupiter and Chiron and Aries. So Chiron represents our wounded self, and Chiron and Aries is a wound of the self, meaning usually it's people that are pleasers, get taken advantage of easily, because give their power away, codependent, because their sense of themselves is not strong enough. And so it gets, you know, impeded on, or it's given away too freely. So you have that as a challenge. And then Jupiter comes along in Aries, and it just sort of emphasizes and exaggerates whatever it touches. So Jupiter and Chiron could really accentuate that side of you right now. Do you give your power away? Do you give your time away? Are you thinking of yourself and your own needs in a healthy way? Usually with Chiron, people don't. They usually think that they're being selfish if they're thinking of their own needs. So Jupiter and Chiron in Aries could be really highlighting, like, are you really thinking of yourself, or are you pleasing everybody? Are you running around bending yourself into different masks, different sides of yourself to belong, or to keep your family stable, or whatever you're doing where it's not really honoring yourself? This is challenged because it's squared by the Moon and Pluto and Sun and Mercury. And Jupiter is emphasizing this point. Thus, we have quite a dynamic for blurting things out, right? Truth bombing, or setting boundaries, or announcing, hey, this is what I'm going to do different now from now on. So it's in the air. So if you're worried that you're being selfish versus taking good self-care, I think you can bounce that off of friends of yours, and a good friend will probably tell you. I think most people that I know who are into astrology and still listening after 30 minutes of me talking are probably going to be more the self-effacing empath types than the me, why isn't it about me? Because they don't have patience usually. So we could see a lot of impatience in the air when you've got anything in Aries squaring off with Capricorn or with Pluto. There's volatility possible, there's temper flares, very possible. So what else do we have going on? Well, it's drawing an aspect to the descendant, which is 6 degrees, and Mars is right there. Now, Mars square Pluto and the Moon is cause for concern, usually with violent tendencies. Like I said, there's always positive ways you can use the planets too, but that's a tough one because you've got this raw energy of Mars that's like, and it's in Taurus, so it's stubborn, down to earth. Yeah, well, whatever. What does that mean with Mars? Mars is a fiery planet. What does a Mars and Taurus person do? How do they act and react? Well, they don't want to be rushed. They'll take their sweet time. They want to be comfortable. They want things to be more routine. They want things to be pleasant in their daily routines. So they're not going to like the disruption very much, of these other, of this planetary square. The intensity, the unpredictability of Moon and Pluto. No, I don't like that. That ruffles my feathers. That threatens my security. Stop it. And they could also just like a hammer, just sort of come down on something. I mean, both are in earth signs, tends to calm the fire down a bit. But Mars is still like a fiery, active, and stubborn planet. So Moon square Mars typically is, be careful of people who might be pulling the wool over your eyes. Be careful not to go against yourself, betray yourself in some way. Because what it typically means is the way I'm going about getting what I want is opposed to what I actually need. That's Moon square Mars. Mars square Pluto, the way I go about getting what I want is conflicting with my idea of transformation and my own exercising of power in my life. Eek, right? So I think we will see some sort of eruption type of, I mean, there's always that kind of thing in the world and in the news anyway. I mean, in this last narrow window of the full moon, we've seen these resignations, we've seen more shootings, we also see the assassination of the Japanese president. That's a very Moon square Mars Pluto thing. You know, there's something covert and sudden, and yeah. So it's just something to watch out for around, in and around you and in yourself. Now, what else do we have? The good news, or the good flow in this chart, is when you get the North Node and Uranus in Taurus mixed with, you see the blue lines, Moon Pluto. Now, that could be quite revolutionary. You've got Uranus and Pluto working side by side. Pluto is like, yeah, let's just blow this thing up and start fresh. Uranus is like, yeah, let's do it in a different way than we've ever done it. Let's do it quick. Let's just shock everybody. And then you've got the moon exactly trining the North Node in Taurus as well. So the desire to build something stable, long-term goal, long-term vision, but with the idea of transformation and revolution of society in mind. This is where the most positive aspect is happening. You have to be quite a visionary to take strong action to provoke the world to go forward, or yourself to go forward, versus being reactive and making a mess. Right? It's quite different. So if you have it in you and you're feeling that you're getting more of a vision for a new life path, you can sort of see what your new life would look like. Again, it supports taking some bold action or announcements. The thing that's interesting is that the North Node and Uranus and Taurus are falling in the 7th house if you're over here in the Eastern time zone. And that means it's impacting your close relationships and partnerships, or hidden enemies. So what does that mean? Well, if you announce something that you want, or that you're going to do, or that you're determined, or you're excited, or you're saying, I'm not putting up with this anymore, whatever it is you might feel compelled to do, it's going to affect those relationships. Hard to say how. Uranus is there, could bring you suddenly closer to some people, could separate you out from some people who don't accept it, could provoke admiration from people around you, could provoke, whoa, you need to chill, I'm not interested in that anymore. Really hard to say. Uranus is a wild card. And the North Node in Taurus, well, we're all going towards trying to build a new sense of what is normal and stable, and we're not there yet. And if you can look at your life as, well, do your best to be clear about your values and build towards a long term that you see as being true to you. We have to allow people come and go when that happens. That's just life. Otherwise you get stability / stagnancy. So that to me is the positive use. And it's also making a good aspect. It's just a sextile, but it's still a good aspect to the Sun and Mercury. So it would support you moving forward and trying to be accepting of how this is affecting your relationships. Only danger of like this with, the 7th house is, does your change, does what you announce or do or say, does it provoke somebody's jealousy? Possibility. But again, that's just life. It all depends how you do it, how you say it, to who, how many people, with what attitude. So much depends on how you communicate it, whether it's going to be well received. And generally people are happy for you when we say things in a clear, calm, or humble way. So we do our best, but the volatility of the chart's not supporting us. It's not going to be easy. Now, the other nice thing that's happening in this chart is we got Venus and Gemini up here, and it's making a nice trine to Saturn. So air signs, Venus and Gemini, wanting to reinvent yourself as well, wanting to connect, wanting to make new friends, wanting to delve into new subjects. Flirty, yeah. And it's trine Saturn down there. And it could be a nice time to meet and realign with new people who match your new vision. Sort of suggests, you know, you could make, I mean, it's air signs and it's Venus, but it is in the 8th house. And Saturn's in Aquarius, but it's in the 4th house, which is family. And the 8th house, which is more like deeper sexual relationships, or, you know, bonding on taboos and psychology and mysticism. So you've got these air signs, but they're in deep houses and they're going well together. So this could actually be a nice time to connect with people who do fit you better than as you go forward in your life. So that is a very nice thing of this full moon. Now, Saturn is also making a nice square with the nodes here and with Uranus. Again, this chart just feels dense to me. It feels like walking through a wall of spider webs is what it feels like. How do you cut through that? You know, if you were in a tunnel and all you see is like a wall of cocoon or webs, what are you going to do? Like, it's thick. It's you can do it. It's not pleasant, but it's not like it's wood or steel. You can cut through it. It's just, we don't know what we're going to find as we go through it. We don't know how many layers and how deep it is, but we can start to do it. So what are you going to do? Freeze? Stay there and feel defeated and cocooned and trapped? Or are you going to start to make a hole and see what you're dealing with? You know, are you going to start to break through some of these webs and break things down? And that's where that visionary energy comes in. It's like maybe that Moon, Pluto, and Capricorn knows, because they're good long-term planners, that this is a tunnel. There's got to be an end to it. You can see some light coming through, hopefully. Let's just keep going. It's worth it. Let's keep plowing through to the end. You know, you need to have a vision of where you want to go longer term so that you can deal with some of the heavy or reactive or angry energies around. You know, you need to cut through these webs so that you find, you don't need tons of people who align with you truly to affirm you, and so you keep going forward. So step out and try to connect on some of those ideas, and so try not to be too scared of like breaking the stability or the mold. It's really strong, the transformation in this chart. What else is working nicely is we have the South Node here in Scorpio, working nicely with the Sun and Mercury. Again, anything with water. And if you look down here, we have a trine with Neptune. So we actually have, you see the triangle? We have a Grand Water Trine happening, which is nice. This means, you know, Neptune, Mercury, Sun, and South Node. Wow, so intuitive. So go with the flow, go with your gut, go with your dreams, meditate, ask for signs, ask for visions. This is the nicest energy in the entire chart. And I have to admit, this is my default and what I became very good at. When things are complicated and head-breaking, and you've got opposing views and conflict and unresolvable directions and people, and it just takes forever to work through it, if you ever can. What transcends and bypasses that is your intuitive side. It's not the, oh, but that argument is valid, but oh, but this one is, oh, but they're saying, and then here and online there. No, it's like you'll just scatter yourself. If you can try to go, what's the vibe of this? What am I feeling? What's my gut saying right now? Am I getting a message? It's time to say something. Am I getting a message? Better lay low. Am I getting a message? I keep seeing like a future version of myself. Well, explore that, because the Grand Water Trine with Neptune and everything is very strong for tapping in through meditation or through readings or whatever. Very strong for your intuition faculties right now. So this is, yeah, I mean, I find it hard to sum up this chart this time. The best analogy I have is the webs through the tunnel. Start breaking through and peeling away and removing some layers of web in yourself, in your life. And you're revealing and you're going towards something new. Because it's really complex energy, this full moon. And again, what tends to happen when energies are really dense and complex is the people who have been feeling oppressed and suppressed tend to react, and things come out in unhealthy, not good ways. So you just want to take whatever action you feel you need to with that in the air. Let's take a look at our cards now. Okay, let's do our cards. But first, I definitely would like to burn some sage. Now, when you burn sage, you don't need to burn these giant smudge sticks. Look how much smoke I'm getting from one little tiny leaf. So basically, you want to conserve it and not abuse it by burning so much sage in these bundles. One little leaf is enough often to cleanse yourself, purify the room or the cards. It's a little more ethical that way. So let's just see what the cards have to tell us about this full moon phase. I also find another aspect of like Moon and Pluto in Capricorn is like so much construction. I mean, there's construction every year, but I just find there's more. It just seems like there's more and more and more digging and jackhammering. So hopefully you're not going through it, but I'm going through it in both places that I have at once. Alrighty, let's see. Expect this full moon. So our first card is the Ace of Pentacles, which is usually a job, some money, not huge, but maybe a little bit of money, the chance to make money, a new project that comes up, something usually paid, something you can count on. And again, it could be a gig, you know, depends what you do. If you're already in a company, well, maybe you're asked to do another project, manage another account. If you are in a business, maybe you're selling something new, Maybe you get hired to do something for a short while. If you're applying for, if you need a loan or anything, maybe you get a small amount of it. It's not a huge windfall, but it is stable. Whatever it is, you can count on it. So that's nice. Yeah, 2 aces. Look at that. Ace of Cups. Well, this is good for love, good for friendship, good for, all it means is your heart is open. It's like a new opening of the heart towards something, a new burst of creativity or a new burst of love towards something. It doesn't mean it's going to last, doesn't mean it's marriage, doesn't mean it's the project will follow through, but it does mean, oh, this feels good. This is a yes, let's start this, So a burst of inspiration or love, energy, friendship, 2 aces in a row. This is very good. That does still support this sort of announcement, transforming energy. Aces are new. We need new. And we got the Queen of Swords here. So she's usually pretty smart, but rather cold, rather strategic, calculating type of, not a lot of patience or compassion, but brilliant. So we'll have to see how she factors in, if you know anyone in and around you like this. She's also known to be quite cruel at times. Like we said, who can you think of that is brilliant but could be cold? All right. And we got the worry card. Well, worrying just means worrying. Not a lot to say until we see if there's anything to worry about. Otherwise, you might be worrying because your intuition is telling you something's off. You might be worrying because you're anxious and you're used to worrying because you're afraid to trust something good could happen. So we'll just see. And it's the Ten of Swords. So you're very likely worrying because some stuff needs to end or be done with. Ten of Swords it says ruin, it's the end. It's like, do not resuscitate, is, Ten of Swords. So could that be related to the relationship you have with said Queen of Swords person? Could be. The worry card in that case probably means your intuition is right. You are nervous about the ending of something. However, we started off with 2 aces. And when you begin something new, you can't keep everything with you and start something new very often. Usually other things have to end or go. And it doesn't have to be people, but it's just, I don't have time for this anymore if I want to do that. I don't have room for one more couch unless I get rid of this one, that kind of thing. Now we've got nice Mr. King of Discs, Pentacles. He's reliable, he's stable. We can count on him. He might have money to back us up. He might be able to hire us. He might be able to take the place of relying on the Queen of Swords person. He's a stable, loyal friend, husband, partner, business partner, whoever he is, boss. A bit on the dull side sometimes, but doesn't matter. So not to worry too much about what's ending. Yeah. We've got the Magician. That's lovely. So that's your revolutionary. I'm going to expand. I'm going to do this. I'm going to try that. I'm going to learn this. I'm going to move there. I'm going to, multitasking, multi-talented, many abilities going on at once, expanding, designing your life. The Magician designs the life. That's what I want. That's my vision. That's what I will manifest. So It's asking you again, break through the webs, let go of what ain't working, go to a new life. Two of Wands. Well, you know, someone's not going to be happy about it, but that's normal. If you are doing anything real and you don't have resistance, you ain't doing anything real. Because whenever you say, you declare something, whenever you move forward, there's always oppositional forces. And so if you're hoping for everybody to go, oh, good for you. Oh, no, it's okay. Really, no. No, go for it. Yeah, yeah. No, it'll affect me and I'm sad and I'm nervous to lose you, but no, go ahead. Or whatever it is. No, you won't get full 100% approval when you move forward in life. So just expect a little jealousy, pushback. And final card is victory, people. Okay, victory. Jupiter in Leo, express yourself. Stick to what you know. If you're getting a strong idea, vision, if you can sort of see what you want in your future, stick to it, please. Try to override the fear and of, you know, what's ending. And a couple of people around going, oh, what are you doing that for? Or, oh, I thought, shut up, right? You know, just like if people are opposing something that you are really so sure that's good for you, like what if you said, you know what, it's time that I like really get healthy. I'm going to exercise and I'm going to eat right. And people go, you're going to back down? Do you really think you're the one who has a bad idea here? No. But you getting healthy, it's not like they don't want you to be healthy. It's that people that are close to us, when we change, they go, oh no, if I want to stay close to this person, I have to change now. Oh, I don't want to change. I'm too scared to change. So instead, I'm going to like try to lure you back so you don't change and then I don't have to. So just like what I do is I'm like, you know what? Okay, people are triggered when you say you're going to change. They feel scared to lose you, or they feel scared that they're going to have to change. There's ways of saying, you know what? Things will be a little different. Doesn't mean that our relationship won't last. Doesn't mean I don't love you. Doesn't mean I still won't be around for you when, or whatever's going on. Unless you get somebody who's outright nasty, jealous, putting you down, obviously, that if you're dealing with toxic people and you're changing your life and they're opposing you or grinding on you, well, no, you know, that 10 of swords, you know, do not resuscitate. But for most people, if you feel like they're oppositional, I think a lot of the time, most of the time, it's their fear. And you can just try to speak to their fear that you're moving forward, but they're not going to lose you. You still love them. You'll bring them with you. It'll be exciting for all of us, kind of thing. Wow, this is quite the reading. So today, what I have in mind for the signs is not the tarot. I have something else that I got when I was in England. I'm going to use this. Fix up anyway, here we go. This is the self-mastery cards, okay? Self-mastery. When I saw that, I'm like, oh, that's different. That's not like a typical oracle kind of thing. So I'm curious, and it's my first time using the cards. What I'm going to do is pull a self-mastery card for each sign because the energy is so complex. Let's just see, what do you need to master in yourself at this moment with these intensities? That's fun, I think. So I'm going to mix them still. Let's see, Aries. What do you need to master, Aries? They're cute little cards too. They're just like little. So I'll hold them up close so you can see. Aries, what do you need to master in yourself at this full moon juncture? And it says purpose. As a master, I am motivated by the meaning in my life, persevering regardless of all obstacles. I never deviate. That is pretty cool as an Aries card, isn't it? I'll read that again. Aries, you need purpose right now. As a master, I am motivated by the meaning of my life, persevering regardless of all obstacles. I never deviate. So if you're feeling ready to take a leap forward, this is definitely calling you to feel your purpose and not be budged. Taurus, what do you need to master right now? Introvertedness. Didn't even know that was a word. As a master, I often turn to my internal realms, where my original qualities of peace, love, and well-being reside. I see the inner meaning of my existence, the purpose of my life, and I am content. I like that for Taurus as well. So Taurus, because you've got Uranus ripping through your sign for the last while and still will, I like this message, introvertedness. As a master, I often turn to my internal realms where my original qualities of peace, love, and well-being reside. I see the inner meaning of my existence, the purpose of my life, and I am content. Going for pulling back and finding your contentedness. That's a great message in the middle of all this Uranus changing. Okay, Geminis, what do you need to master? Easiness, easiness. As a master, I am always light and take on no burdens. I don't take insults or aggressive behavior personally. I know who I am and I stay peaceful and calm. Easiness. We'll read that again. So Gemini, I am a master. I am always light and take on no burdens. I don't take insults or aggressive behavior personally. Very important in full moon. I know who I am and I stay peaceful and calm. So meditate on that. Let your life be easy and you'll let a lot of things go. Very good message. All right, Cancers, what message do you need to master today? Ooh, ouch. No, it's good. I'm just like, I'm a Cancer, so I'm like, self-respect. Cancer, as a master, I see myself with both love and regard. I respect my truth and my qualities. I give myself the time I need to reach my full potential. I do not listen to insults. Oh, that's so good for Cancers who just like, oh no, well, they really need to talk, so I'll just listen, even if it's bothering me, offending me, invading my space, insulting me, because poor them, so I'll just listen to them. This is like, no, self-respect, self-respect, self-respect. As a master, I see myself with both love and regard. I respect my truth and my qualities. Accepting your qualities is a big one, Cancer. You always think, oh, but you know, that's how they feel. So somehow worrying about how other people feel can almost negate how you feel as being valid too. So give yourself the time I need to reach my full potential. And I do not listen to insults. Yes. Very good advice. All right, Leos, what message do you need? What do you need to master? Introspection. As a master, I turn within myself. I see my inner world rigorously checking my self-inventory. I am never deceived by myself. I know myself completely. Ooh, that's a good one. Introspection, yes. Knowing yourself completely. What did I say at the beginning of the video? Knowing yourself and being honest with yourself sets you free. As a master, I turn within myself. I see my inner world rigorously checking my self-inventory. I am never deceived by myself. I know myself completely. So Leo, turn within and get to know yourself completely. Don't pull the wool over your own eyes. All right, Virgo, let's see for you. What do you need to master? Gentleness. I stay close to my real feeling of myself. So quiet, so sensitive to the being of others. As a master, I can never hurt someone's feelings due to being out of touch with my own. Ooh. Very good message. So, gentleness. I stay close to my real feeling of myself, so quiet, so sensitive to the being of others. As a master, I can never hurt someone's feelings due to being out of touch with my own. So that's a huge message for a Virgo. Yeah, prone to analyze, dissect, and critique with good intentions, but not always with sensitivity at times, right? So if you feel you're being overly critical or people are saying you are, get in touch with how you feel on a more real level, so that that empathy means that you won't point things out or say things quite in the same way to others because of that empathy. It's a beautiful message. All right, I need some water, and then we'll go to Libras. All right, Libra, what do you need to master? Oh, Lord, I swear I didn't. Harmony. Sorry, that's just like, that is so perfectly Libra. I did not do that on purpose. Okay, Libra needs to master harmony. A lot of people say, oh, well, I'm Libra, so I'm balanced. No, your life lesson is to balance. Doesn't mean you are. Sorry. It doesn't mean there's something wrong with you either, though. It's just not saying, well, I'm perfectly balanced. No, you're weighing. You're always weighing. And you want harmony. That's the deeper aesthetic of a Libra. They want harmony and fairness and justice and beauty. So that's why they're weighing things. How can I get that? How would that work out so that it's fair and better and more peaceful and beautiful for everybody? So meditate on harmony. As a master, I resonate with who I am. I am in tune with my companions at home and at work. I see the beauty and know the secrets of all situations. Oh. I like the last line. I see the beauty and know the secrets of all situations. A lot of people confide in Libras because they're nice. So you're the holder of so much info from everyone, right? And then you're like, the more you hear, the more you have to weigh. So it's sort of like find a way to hold the knowledge and the secrets. And what a message. That's pretty deep, actually. All right, Scorpios, what are you mastering right now at this full moon. Ooh, royalty. Look at that. To be real and authentic is to be a king or a queen and rule the jungle of obstacles and difficulties. Overcoming the temptation to be cowardly or to lie, I move through life with dignity. Oh, well, that's an interesting twist because I'd never see Scorpios as cowardly or lying. Well, some can lie, but cowardly, no. So royalty, very interesting. Elevate yourself and your sense of your ethics, your leadership qualities. So again, to be real and authentic is to be king or queen and rule the jungle of obstacles and difficulties. Overcoming the temptation to be cowardly or to lie, I move through life with dignity. So I guess the only thing I could say about that card, if it applies to you, because it certainly won't for all Scorpios, but for some, sometimes, you know, you can get impatient with people or humanity or with ignorance, let's say, because you see through it. And sometimes that can tempt or bring out the cynical side. And when we get cynical, we might take liberties to make our lives easier. So this message feels to me like this moon wants you to ponder, just, are my ethics, am I operating from my highest ethics? I like that. That's clear, simple. All right, Sagittarius, what do you need to master? Healing, that's nice. All right, gradually my old self falls away. My sorrow is lost and my anxiety fades. This is perfect for this message of what we talked about in the chart. As I master, I experience irreversible positive change. I become whole. That's beautiful. This really stresses to me just to trust your healing process right now, to trust your transformation process and let things fall away. This one really seems to fit with the chart and even the cards. So let's read it one more time for Saggies. Healing. Gradually, my old self falls away. My sorrow is lost and my anxiety fades. As a master, I experience irreversible positive change. I become whole. That's beautiful. That's just beautiful. All right, Capricorns, what do you need to master this full moon? Oh, interesting. Good wishes. Interesting. As a master, my heart is filled with recognition of the value of others. I feel I want them to do well and be successful. The success of others is really my success too. That's a big one, because the full moon and Pluto together could put Capricorn in a mood. And I've known some Capricorns well enough to know when they're doing well, they're very strong and they support and guide others, sort of stewarding them, you know, with leadership in a grounded way, thinking about the long-term future. And when they're not doing well, they can feel like life is passing them by or missed the boat, you know, or they can be very possessive, jealous, envious, if they feel like things are not going in their favor despite all their hard work. And so to me, this good wishes calls to the the side of you that's like, stay in the patience and positivity. If things are not happening exactly as you wish on your schedule, just remember that if good things are happening to people around you, it's also in a sense happening to you. You're connected to them and to that energy. And it's a matter of patience and timing. And also just to stay on the good side of your nature, wishing people well, always makes life go better. So good wishes. As a master, my heart is filled with recognition of the value of others. I feel I want them to do well and to be successful. The success of others is really my success too. Beautiful. All right. Aquarius, what do you need to master? Beauty. I use my inner eye of wisdom to see the qualities of those around me, loving my inner being, recognizing the wonder of circumstances. As a master, I see how perfect everything is. That's interesting. So it's not beauty like, oh, I love your dress. It's a higher version of beauty. It's almost beauty in terms of seeing the grand order, seeing the big picture and how it's all intricately woven. And that's beautiful. So I'll read it again for you, Aquarius. Using my inner eye of wisdom to see the qualities of those around me, loving my inner being, recognizing the wonder of circumstances. As a master, I see how perfect everything is. There's a lot of acceptance in that card too, about things having their own time and their own way without us controlling or managing them. Seeing how, you know, the process of things is actually chaotic, but perfect and beautiful in its own way. Yeah, lovely. And Pisces, finally, what is your message of self-mastery? And yours is simplicity. I become free from all the trappings and supports of false pride. I keep it simple. To stay free, to stay close to what is real, unencumbered. I remain free as a master. Wow, that's pretty deep. Simplicity, Pisces, simplicity. That's a great message to leave off on, and also for Pisces anyway. When energies are really diverse and heavy and you know, reactive and stuff like now, keeping it simple is good. I become free from all the trappings and supports of false pride. So think about that as a theme, false pride. What might you be feeling false pride about? You worried about too much, how many people like you on social media? Are you monitoring what people are saying about you? Hoping it's good. Keep it simple. To stay free is to stay close to what's real, unencumbered. So don't worry about any of that stuff. Pull back and know what's real and keep it simple, and you'll avoid a lot of mess you don't need. You'll rise above. Which also fits the Grand Water Trine, Neptune, Sun, Mercury, South Node, Scorpio. Rise above, keep it simple, trust your gut. Very nice messages. I like these self-mastery cards. I won't use them every time, but I'm probably going to pull them out sometimes, maybe during some live readings I'm going to start going live with these moons. So I'm going to do some sort of live video in the next day or two. And I'm going to read from my book. Of course, vibes from the other side. I'm going to read from it. I'm going to talk about whatever passage I randomly pull. I'm going to expand upon it and talk about it. And then I'm going to be available for a couple of readings, but I'm not going to start doing rapid fire readings for everybody. I might do 1 or 2 or 3 at the end of a discussion. What I feel I'm here for is to awaken and get you to go deeper. Predictions and prediction addiction is not going deeper. And that's why I refuse to go into that too often. But I do think it's valid to do a few readings for people. But I will be picking and choosing deeper or more relevant questions, not like, will he call me? I'm not answering that. It all depends on how it's said, the energy that I receive the message. And then I'm going to pick whoever strikes me. But if you would like a personal reading, then you can please reach me. If you want to connect in a deeper way, or you support my work in general, I appreciate if you sign up on Patreon, support me on Patreon. I still have to get that a little more organized, but I do have a basic membership if you appreciate what I offer every month. So the links are all below, and I wish you a wonderful full moon, and take care of yourself, keep it simple, and we'll see you next time.